Hey team, love you guys. After the training a few days ago, I decided to write out this roadmap. This is a roadmap we talked about the other day, starting a conversation with strangers, leading into how to set up a meet and greet one. And so I want to first preface it by saying that not every conversation looks exactly the same. This is only a bird's eye view of a general progression of the conversation. And so hopefully this simplifies things for you and that will help you into knowing where you're at. So definitely huddle up with us on every conversation so we can better help you. All right, so let's start by starting conversation. So starting a conversation, the blue words are what you do and the red words are the mindset. Okay, so starting a conversation, you want to start natural and comfortable conversation for the other person. Kind of like a first day of class, you're making a new friend. And my mindset is all I'm looking to do is to identify if they are friendly, if they want to talk to me. And only if they are, then I will move on to the next step, which is deepening conversation. Deepening conversation is when I am curious about them, finding out more about them, and so that I can find common ground with them and by connecting. So connecting will be the mindset here. You want to connect through common ground and through your common interests. And throughout this conversation, there's different cates on how to deepening the conversation and how to find out a want, need, or desire. Mostly will be through their profession or career. So throughout the conversation, they might ask you what you do, or if it makes sense, it will add value to the conversation, then I will share who's available. Sharing who's available is very simple. If, say, you are a teacher, I'll say something like, I'm currently a teacher right now, but I'm going through a transition right now. And that's usually what I say, very simple. And then people will ask, what are you transitioning into? Or what's kind of like your next step? So I'll say, I'm actually transitioning into early retirement. And people usually go, oh my gosh, early retirement, that's amazing. And I'll say, yeah, totally. My husband has a friend who retired really young and he taught us everything he knows. And so I share it with very short, sweet, to the point. And the key word is energy. You want to have positive energy. Your eyes want to light up. Your face want to light up. You want to have more of an enthusiasm as you're sharing your story. And so if you want to work on sharing your story, definitely send us a huddle up, Kate. We can help you with that. But basic things to include is your current occupation. You're going through a transition. When they ask you, you say you're transitioning into early retirement because of the friends you have, the results that your friends have, and you are benefiting from it. And so most of the time you will have two kinds of response. One is a positive, saying that, oh my gosh, you're so lucky, you have such a good friend, that's so awesome, good for you, things like that. They're not inquiring more, but they are positive. So I will acknowledge that they are positive. So I'll just say, yeah, such a good friend, I'm so lucky to have a friend like that. And I'll say, so what about you? What's kind of like your game plan? So bring it back to them. So that's positive response. If they are the what person, which is amazing because it means that it's registering and they are responding to what you're saying. So the mindset of that is you want to be relaxed. It's more of a conversation. It's not so much I'm handling the what, but it's more of a extending of a conversation from your sharing who's available. So if they ask me, what do they do? How do they do that? So I'll say something like, they taught us how to build assets that so we can have money work for us instead of us working for it. But honestly, it took me a long time to learn. So it's probably not something we could talk about it right here. But anyways, have you thought about that too? So you want to bring it back to them. Or you could say, but anyways, what about you? What's kind of like your game plan? So that's the first time they ask us what they do. And so if they're positive, then you want to go back to finding a want, need, or desire. Say they are the type of person that asks you, what do they do again? So this is the what again. So they ask the second time or the third time, I want to ask them, do you have any background on asset building or wealth creation? Most people say no, or some people say yes. More details on that, let us know. We can send you more case on how to handle that. But usually I'll just say, it took me a long time to learn, weeks to learn, so probably it's not the conversation we have here. I wouldn't even know where to begin to tell you. But one thing I can tell you, though, is that for me, I just got around the right people. My friend was willing to help me. That's what got me to where I'm at. But anyways, what about you? What's kind of like your game plan? I can ask that. or I can, if they keep asking the what, but can you tell me anything? And what do they do? Anything that you can tell me? Then I'll just say something like, oh, so what about you? Are you just curious, or are you asking because you want the same result? And if you have a good connection and they say, oh yeah, I totally am asking because I want a good result, then I want to say, oh, so what have you been looking into? Have you looked? Have you asked people? Have you searched for help? If they're like, oh yeah, I searched for help, but I haven't really found anything, then I will go into dropping the message, okay? So from positive, if they are positive, going back to the positive people, if they're positive, I want to acknowledge, ask about them, and then bring it back to finding a want, need, or desire. So in order to drop the message, I want to, most of the time, find out what their want, their need, or desire is. And you will connect more on the stage where you're finding want, need, or desire. And definitely, again, if you want to know more about that, definitely send us a K. We can coach you on that. And so then you're going to go into dropping the message. So what dropping the message is a simple question. Are you looking for more, or you're happy where you're at? I usually like to use their need to drop. Say their need is, I'm sick and tired of working at Lucky Brand. You know, I'm sick and tired of working at Lucky Brand. I want to move on, but I don't know how. So I'll just say something like, hey, so-and-so, I know that you're saying you don't want to work at Lucky Brand anymore, but you don't know what else to do. I mean, are you looking for more, or you're pretty happy where you're at? And so if you're like, oh yeah, I'm totally looking for more, excuse me, then I'll say, yeah, totally. I feel like I was in the same boat, and you relate with them however your story is. And I'll just say, my friend really helped me out. I mean, I don't mind reaching out to my friend for you and see if I can make connections if you really appreciate that. And if people go, yeah, I'll definitely appreciate that, then you go into having the contact. So in the case, if we are stepping in, or if your coaches are stepping in to model a meet and greet one for you, after that, I'll just say, okay, you know what? I'll reach out to them, and then I'll see what I can do. And then you guys can get each other's number, and then you got a contact. So if we are modeling a meet and greet one for you, then I will text them back and then get over. This is the 3 points of contact into booking the meet and greet one. So number one, the first time I'm getting over the phone with them, of course, text them, get over the phone. All I'm trying to accomplish is I reached out to them and they are willing to teach, but only with people they personally know. So I haven't had a chance to talk to them yet, but if you are serious, next time I talk to them, I can bring your name up and see what I can do. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, the second time you talk to them, so give it a few days. If they say, yeah, I'm totally serious and I totally appreciate your help, then the second time you're going to talk to them is telling them that, hey, I brought your name up to them like I said I would. You seem like a really great person, so I put in a good word for you. And because I really talked you up, they are open to potentially get to know you a little bit because, like I was saying, they only talk to people, or they only teach people that they personally know and if it makes sense to. So before even going there, the most I can do is potentially set up like a one-on-one introduction for you with them, and the rest is really up to you. And there's more dialogue. If you want more dialogue, definitely let me know, and I can send you recordings on that. So that's the second point. And so at that stage, you're going to potentially set up a meet and greet. So what I would say is before I reach out to my friends, I want to kind of get a gauge of your schedule, what that kind of looks like, and hopefully that will line up with my friend's schedule. So get a gauge of either weekends or weeknights, a broad gauge of schedule, and I'll say, okay, I'll reach out to my friends, and hopefully that will line up with their schedule. So that's the second point of contact. And then the third point of contact is you're going to text them back and say, hey, good news, Monday, 8 p.m. works out for them. We'll meet here. And so this will be you're texting them to set up a meeting, okay? So the mindset behind that is you are doing them a favor. So you don't need anything from them. You're not getting them, but you are doing them a favor because they said they needed help. That's the mindset, okay? So going back to getting a contact, if you are doing your own meet and greet, after dropping the message, say, are you looking for more, or you're pretty happy where you're at? People say, oh, I'm totally looking for more. Then you'll say, yeah, I feel like I was in the same boat and my friend totally helped me out. I don't mind reaching out to my friends and see if I can, maybe make some connections for you if you appreciate that. And if they're like, oh yeah, I totally appreciate that, then I'll just say, yeah, totally. I know my friend is willing to teach, but only to people he personally knows. So, I mean, I'm totally open to maybe grab coffee with you first. We can get to know each other and we can kind of go from there. And then people usually go, oh yeah, that sounds great, awesome. Get each other's number, and then you're gonna do your own meet and greet one. And so usually I would text them in like an hour or two, or if I meet them late at night the next day, and I'll just say, hey, so nice to meet you. We'll keep in touch about a time for coffee. And then in a day or two, I'll go ahead and text them to set up a meet and greet one. And so if you need details on that, as far as how we text people, either after you get a contact or as you are booking the meeting, how do you text people correctly, or how do we text people? Definitely text us. We can help you work on that and how you text people, okay? So the mindset is behind a meet and greet one is you want to get to know them first to see if the mindsets align, to see if it makes sense to even talk further. And you first want to get to know this person. And so this is the roadmap, starting from a conversation, stranger conversation, all the way to booking the meet and greet one, either for your coaches to model or you're doing your own meeting. And so these are only big bullet points. So I hope this helps you simplify and have a bird's eye view of how things work, and also identify where you are at in your skill set development and also your work habit. So definitely reach out to us, huddle up to us. We want to help you develop your skill set so you can move on to the next level. All right, love you guys.